Okay, guys, welcome to the We've Been Drinking MMA podcast. I'm Lousy,
And this is Backhand.
and we're going to start off with the first fight of the main card, which is Mike Mallet versus Johan Lanice. I'm going to go with it. Lanice. My prediction is this might be a fight of the night kick scenario here.
Yeah, man. I'm thinking it's got a really good recipe for Mallet going forward on offense and Lanez trying to basically keep that distance. And he's a great athlete too with the balance. So it's Mallet trying to knock out a legitimately great athlete.
My prediction is Mike Mallet, by the way.
Yeah, I'm also going with Mike Mallet. I think it's probably going to be KO just because the guy's record is unbelievable. He is super aggressive, maybe top 3 most aggressive fighters I've ever seen.
He throws with purpose. I mean, everything he does is just strong, crisp, and he's young. So it's going to be exciting to see what he does in the future. So my prediction again is going to be Mike Mallet. It might be a first round knockout. It might be, but I'm liking this fight to go three rounds. But fight of the night category here.
Yeah, man. So Mike Mallet is 8-1. He got KO'd one time, which was I think for his first year and a half of fighting. And he just got out. The other guy was just a faster striker, and Mallet was his usual aggressive self. It just ran into just an amazing striker who's also in the UFC. His name is Hakeem Dawadu, and he's really great striker. He's only has a couple losses from some wrestlers, but his striking is unbelievable. Anyways, Mike Mallet is 8-1, and his 8 wins, all of them are finishes, and all of them are in the first round. Well, he actually had one other, what do you call it, a draw. But his other 7 wins, or his 8 wins, he's 8-1-1, right, because of one of the draw. His 8 wins, all of them are in the first round. It's unreal.
That is incredible. Isn't that makes you want to watch the fight? Hey, he's gonna finish the fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's guaranteed. And the thing is that he's just one of those guys who comes forward to the point where you're thinking, how is he gonna stop the wrestling if he gets too over aggressive? And he just kind of does it quickly, he's got a quick mind, quick reads, and he will kind of just almost like. So he's such a monster when he's going forward that he's so quick at understanding. Okay, you're gonna go for a takedown. He just swats the arm away and just keeps punching. Yep. It's just one of those things where there's a reason why all of his 8 wins are first round finishes. Half of them are KOs, 5 KOs and 3 submissions, I think. So it's like, there's a high likelihood that he's gonna KO Lanez. And the thing is that
they're both offensive-minded fighters, so this is going to be a good fight.
Yeah, so little thing about Lanez is Lanez basically has great balance. He's a great athlete as far as he knows how to keep the distance. He doesn't like to get hit, but also has pretty good technique. On his punches, but just doesn't want to be too aggressive because he did get finished in his second to last fight by submission. So in his last fight, he was definitely looking to just go the distance. And the thing is that he's one of those guys where you go, wow, great athletic talent, like a top 10 physical specimen, just isn't super aggressive and doesn't want to throw too many combinations. He likes to throw like a 1 punch, maybe 2 punches, and then run again. And just really just try and pepper you with some jabs here and there, and he's on the bike a lot. And the problem though is that with a guy like Mike Mallet who likes to go forward, he's gonna cut off the octagon, and that's the one problem. That's what's gonna happen is that to beat Mallet you have to damage Mallet, like we talked about Emmett last week. It's like he's one of those guys like Strickland too, Sean Strickland. If you don't damage them, they're just gonna keep coming and keep coming harder and harder.
Unless you take them down and keep them down. It's going to be a problem. So, Mike Mallet for the win.
Mike Mallet for the win. We're thinking possibly fight of the night just because he's going to go forward. Lanez is going to try and just keep him off him, but is a great athlete in his own right. So it's a really fun fight as far as it's probably the people's main event. It's just a fun fight that's going to happen. You're going to see Mallet really hit hard on a lot of shots, really fast punches. He's an unbelievable fighter.
So Mallet for the win. Thanks, guys.
Yep, going with Mallet. Hey, this is Backhand,
This is Lousy.
and we're making predictions for UFC Fight Night 220 Spann versus Krylov. This is the second fight on the card, on the main card. It's Tatiana Suarez versus Montana De La Rosa. And, this is one of those fights. Tatiana Suarez is a huge favorite, 9-1 favorite, 90% chance to win. She does have a 2-inch reach disadvantage, but the story of the fight, I'm going with Tatiana Suarez. I have to. She's that big.
It's a lock. I don't think you can go with Montana here because Tatiana's such a favorite here.
I was gonna try and make a case, but it's like, wait, what case? The thing is that, Montana De La Rosa, she does like to clinch. She does like to strike, but she likes to clinch quite a bit with Macy Barber in her fight. This is the thing, is that the reason that Tatiana is such a big favorite is that no matter where the fight goes, if it stays standing, yes, Montana does like to strike. Tatiana beats her with significant strikes. Tatiana Suarez,
Double.
yeah, man, she has 4.8 significant strikes per minute, whereas Montana only has 2.6.
I mean, like, you bring it to the floor, like she probably is gonna bring it to the floor, and probably a lot. What's the takedown? 6 takedowns a fight for Tatiana. 6.
6. I don't think I've seen that before.
That's incredible.
So, I mean, this is the thing. Like, Montana had problems with Macy Barber in the clinch against the fence. Macy was all over her. Well, Tatiana's a different animal than Macy Barber. Tatiana is undefeated. Tatiana's knocked out Carla Esparza, who's one of the best wrestlers in that division, in the UFC women's flyweight division. And so, Tatiana Suarez can easily finish the takedowns against the fence. They'll be clinching. Tatiana will easily finish the takedowns. It'll just be just domination, it feels like.
Whatever she wants to do, she's going to do. So this is an easy Tatiana lock. So
yeah,
put her as a parlay. So because you're not getting a good price on her.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, the thing is that she's minus 900. She started out as minus 600, meaning like 6-1. So whatever, like 80 or like 85%. Now she's a 90% chance to win, 9-1. So it's very expensive, very expensive. If you add her on a parlay though, you can if you have like a 3, 4, 5 fight parlay, she can add to your parlay and make it profitable when you have 4 or 5 fights. So she knocked out Carla Esparza. She had an injury. And that's why she's been out for 3 years. That's the only other thing about it, is that she had, was it a knee injury?
Knee injury. And that's why she hasn't fought in 3 years. Her last fight was against Amanda Nunes' wife, Nina, I believe her name is. Nina. I don't remember her last name before she was Nunes, but like Nina Nunes and unanimous decision. Like, look at her fights. Look at her last 8 fights. Yeah. All wins. No all domination. Yeah. Yeah. So if you just go by past experiences, even though it's been a minute since she's fought, she's going to win this fight.
Yeah, the problem is yes, she's coming off a 3-year knee injury. Thing is though, I mean, she as far as her record is amazing. I mean, Carla Esparza just had the title, or maybe currently has it at 125. Yeah. No, that's Shevchenko's class. My bad. But Carla Esparza is at 115, and Tatiana is at 125. But still, the fact that she's got a KO win over Esparza, and then she also has a submission win over Alexa Grasso, and Grasso is fighting Shevchenko for the title. It just goes to show you that. It's just tears, man. Like she really is a cut above, and the problem is also Montana's coming off a loss to Macy Barber, and Macy Barber is not even like top 7, so that's the problem. Is you got one fighter who's super dominant, the other fighter Montana De La Rosa coming off a loss and didn't look that good. Punches are a little bit lackadaisical. She likes to strike here and there, but the punches, the jab, the 1-2 is a little bit sloppy. You go like that against Suarez, you got no chance to knock her out. How are you going to beat her on the ground when Suarez is the best wrestler in the division by far? It's basically, it's too easy. So we're going with Tatiana Suarez.
For the win, Tatiana. Okay, guys, welcome back to the We've Been Drinking MMA podcast. I'm Lousy.
And this is Backhand. Thanks for joining us.
And we are going to be talking about the Augusto Sakai versus Dante Mays fight. I'm going Mays. I wouldn't put a lot of money on it, but I think Mays is going to win this fight. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit. Dontel Mays, aggressive fighter, but pretty smart. He doesn't put his head in harm's way, which is very important. Has good 1-2, good kicks, and the type of guy that can actually give Sakai problems. I'm also going to lean towards Dontel Mays in this fight. However, this is a fight, I'm going to be honest, I'd rather live bet this one just because we both think, we talked about it, that Sakai is a slightly better fighter overall, but Sakai is on a losing streak, man.
Big time losing streak. Last 4 fights, he's been knocked out. That's huge. So either he's gonna come in with like a junkyard dog type mentality, I'm gonna win this fight, or he's gonna be like, you know what, with a defeatist attitude, like if I don't win here, he's gonna fight not to lose type fighter. So I think Dante is gonna win this fight. I don't think he's gonna knock him out or anything because I think Sakai might be a little bit better like level of a fighter than Mays, but like I think Mays has a real good shot to unanimous decision.
Yeah, so, the reasoning behind this is a 50-50 fight in the odds makers' eyes. However, Sakai is like on a losing streak, just like Lousy said. 4 KO losses in a row. He got KO'd by Alistair Overeem to start, which that's a bad way to start the streak because Overeem is so skilled as a kickboxer. Then he got KO'd by another kickboxer, Rosenstrike, who's a really good kickboxer. And then he got KO'd by Tai Tuivasa, who just fought for the title versus Cyril Gane. And then he got KO'd by Spivak, and Spivak just KO'd Lewis, so Spivak's streaking. So it's kind of unfortunate. He's fighting really great fighters, truly, and he got KO'd by all of them. And the problem is, though, now is that it felt like in his last fight versus Spivak, we had a lot of respect for him. He had good head movement, could switch stances, could box really well. KO over Tybura, Marcin Tybura, who we have a lot of respect for, won his last fight versus Blaganov.
His footwork back in the day was really good, and now he's just slowing down. In fact, we were talking about before we talked about it on the podcast. His body structure right now looks terrible. Like he's coming off the couch to fight.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he's 31 years old. This is sad, but he's 31 years old. He should be entering his prime, but instead, he looks like he's getting chubbier. It looks like his body, his back and his stomach is jiggling every time he's just circling his opponent. Body is jiggling. He's getting in worse shape. Like Lousy said, he looks like he's getting off the couch. I don't know what's going on in his life or what's going on. Maybe there's injuries. I don't know the exact reasons, but it's just not looking good for him as far as his career actually is going downhill. Looks like.
He needs to win this fight to stay in the UFC. What do you think about that?
Yeah, man. There's a lot of pressure on him. If you lose the 5th fight in a row and it's another KO loss, first of all, as a heavyweight, when you get KO'd, there's a different type of feeling when you get KO'd as a heavyweight because the
just
damage,
takes one punch.
One punch, and the fists are huge. And if your career can be done in just 2 or 3 KO losses. This guy's gotten 4 in a row. I mean, that shin is getting worse and worse. He's getting KO'd easier every fight. And then let's talk about Dontel Mays. This is the problem. Dontel Mays has a 4-inch reach advantage over Sakai. 4-inch reach advantage and a 3-inch height advantage. We said Dontel Mays throws punches and kicks very aggressive, but smart. Like he doesn't put his head in harm's way. He is smart about choosing when to come in. He's not just over aggressive. So that's the type of fighter. And you look at his record and you look at it and you say, his last fight was a draw, but he drew against a guy who got popped for steroids. And so, he did a good job in that fight. It's just, when you're going up against a guy who got popped for steroids. Everybody's on steroids. That classic Nate Diaz line. It's true for the most part. And, but this guy got caught for it, meaning he probably took like a lot, and that's why probably Dontel couldn't do that well against him. He did well in the fight, but just not good enough to beat a
Gotta
juiced.
take your vitamins.
The guy was juiced to the gills, and that's what happens. It's hard to beat a guy like that. So he lost on points and then got overturned because his opponent, Hamdi Abdawab, he got popped for steroids. He's banned for 2 years now. So you look at Dontel May's record. Other than that, no contest in his last fight. He had a KO win over Josh Parisian, and he's won a lot. Really, in his last 5 fights. The only losses came from a submission versus Cyril Gane, who is the current champion, or fighting for the belt versus John Jones. It's a vacant belt because Ngannou kept the title. But a lot of people thought Gane won that fight. So this is basically like he lost to the title holder, Cyril Gane, by submission. We saw that fight.
Came to the last second.
Yeah, it came at the last second in the first round and
Third round.
Sorry, third round. I'm sorry. But it was a good fight on the feet. He was doing well against Cyril Gane within the last 4 years ago. That says a lot because Gane is a great striker, always has been a great striker. And the other loss he had was a DQ a long time ago, and then in his first year and a half of fighting, he got KO'd. There's no shame in that. And he got submitted in his 4 fights ago against a specialist. Nascimento, I think a Brazilian, and so, great on the ground, I think. So, it's like one of those things where Dontel Mays really hasn't lost that much. Smart fighter, can strike with Cyril Gane well on the feet. What's going to happen when he's fighting against a guy like Sakai, who's on a losing streak, who's not looking good, who looks like he really doesn't belong in the UFC anymore?
He's fighting not to lose instead of fighting to win. So, yeah. I think this is going to be a cakewalk. I'll say cakewalk.
We used to have a lot of respect for Sakai. I still do. The problem is that he looked so bad in his last fight. Again, a live bet is what I'm going to do. But if a small bet on Dontel, I probably will do a small bet just because it's like everything feels like it's leading up to Dontel is going to have a win over this. You look at the record, and Dontel has done good on the feet versus Gane, like we said. Sakai, he's kind of more labored on his punches now. It's slowing down. His punches are getting a lot slower, a lot sloppier, and a lot slower. So it's just one of those things where you go against a guy like a great athlete like Dontel Mays, and it's bad timing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a bad, what's that, where you fight a fighter where it's not going to be your fight.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bad style matchup. And the thing is that it's just in their careers, Dontel Mays is on the rise. Like we said, he should have 3 wins, but his last fight was a no contest. But, and then 5 fights ago, Cyril Gane lost, submission, and then a submission. On the feet, though, he's really good. And the thing is that Sakai is getting really bad on the feet, and Sakai doesn't have much of a ground game either. So, it's just bad timing for him. And going with Dontel Mays ever so slightly, but it is probably worth a bet.
So let's go.
Sad to say, we like Sakai, but... Hey, guys, this is Backhand.
This is Lousy.
Hey, joining us or continue watching. Thanks for continuing watching us or listening to this We've Been Drinking MMA podcast where we're predicting the UFC Fight Night 220 Spann versus Krylov fights. This is the co-main event. We got Andre Muniz versus Brendan Allen, and I'm going with Andre Muniz from Brazil.
I'm going with Brendan Allen. The reason I'm going with Brendan Allen because his competition level has been higher. So I think he's going to be fighting to a different level than where Andre Muniz is because Andre Muniz has not fought the level of competition that Brendan Allen has. And I think Brendan Allen's just going to be fresher and he's just going to be more crisp. And I think he's just going to win the fight. Another reason why I like Brendan Allen is because he takes time with his strikes. He opens up his big shots with his jab, and he's patient with it, and then he just goes and goes and goes. He wants to fight. He's had 3 fights a year the last couple of years, and now he's going to enter early, so I think he might get another 3 fights this year. So he just wants to fight. He throws hard, and he's ready to fight continuously. So Brendan Allen is my pick.
Yeah, I do like Brendan Allen. I think he's improving from fight to fight. He is 28 years old, whereas Andre Muniz is 33. So the reason I'm going with Andre Muniz though is basically the takedowns are just really well timed from the guy. He has been knocked out before, but his losses last loss was like 7 years ago. He's got about 3 or 4 KO losses on his record, so he is susceptible to the KO, but it's been 7 years. So his last fight with Uriah Hall, I think he improved the striking. The boxing was looking good. He doesn't really go for like big punches though. What he does is he likes to punch his way in, and he'll throw some little calf kicks and some kicks to the head to throw you off. Then he'll kind of box you with like 3, 4, even a 4-punch combo, and then he'll go for the takedown against the fence. So it's very, very, very smothering style.
So he's setting up his punches to get a takedown.
Big time, and that's basically what he did to Uriah Hall. And it's just one of those things where when Muniz gets on you, he can mount you very quickly. He's got great transitions in his grappling, and then like even if you try and get up, like sometimes when you get on mount and you've pinned him, your legs are above his legs, and you're trying to ground and pound or work for kimuras or submissions. Sometimes they can kind of kick you off because you're so high. They can kind of kick you, can kind of like jump. They can just kind of just throw you off. But he does a great job going for other submissions, and then he can flatten you out again. And he's just very smothered.
Go for the kimura, then get mount after they try to defend that.
Yeah. So this is the thing, is that he really times his takedowns really well. Brendan Allen is a guy who's improving from fight to fight, and that's what Brendan Allen's strength is that he's got a great body kick, good solid leg kick, pretty good leg kick, but his body kick is amazing, and his aggression, he likes to come forward. The thing is Muniz also likes to come forward, so they both like to come forward. It's a very interesting clash of styles. Allen gets up off the ground very quickly, but sometimes he can also get held down. So that's the other problem with it, is that sometimes he can get up in a flash against the fence, and then sometimes he can get held down for 3 minutes. And that's proven in his second to last fight against Jacob Malkoun. Malkoun's smaller than Muniz, but Malkoun was able to hold down Allen for 3 minutes. At the same time, in another round, Allen was able to get back up in like 10 seconds, 5 seconds even. It's just crazy how talented the kid is and how much he's improving.
So if it stays on the ground, you go with Muniz. Yeah. But if it's a stand-up fight, like if Muniz for some reason does not want to take him down, I don't think this is a no-brainer Brendan Allen fight, correct?
Yeah, Brendan Allen has overall a much bigger variety of strikes. His jab has improved. His overhand right has improved. Just he's comfortable on the feet. I mean, it's just good to see Allen, a young guy, 27 years old, that he's just getting comfortable. And a guy like that is really hard to predict where he's going to be, but he could be a guy who gets into the top 10, top 15 in the next 2-3 years. It's just a matter of improvement for him. Thing is, he's got a 3-inch reach disadvantage. So even though Allen and Muniz are going to be battling for the center of the octagon to see who wants to be more aggressive and push the other fighter back, I believe Allen can push Muniz back a little bit, but the problem is that Allen stands really close to his opponents. So the problem is when you stand very close to your opponents...
That's a problem for a wrestler. Yeah, if you're fighting a wrestler and if you want to be that close, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. When you stand really close to a wrestler as well seasoned as Andre Muniz can easily duck under the punches. He can just go for flat out, just fake punch, a feint, and then just go for the takedown. He can do a lot of different things to Brendan Allen. Also, Brendan Allen, he does throw the aggression in with different strikes and stuff, but if he just stands there just a little bit too much, Andre goes for a calf kick. He even goes for like the Achilles kick. It's kind of like he kicks really low. And Allen is just right there to be kicked with that as well, in my opinion. And so, he loads up on his overhand a little bit. It's improving, though, which is great, but it's a little bit sloppy when he's loading up on it. Hopefully he doesn't do it this fight. He might not do it because he is improving from fight to fight. He's so young. But, him standing so close is a very troubling thing. Like I said, to reiterate, his second to last fight against Jacob Malkoun, he got held down for 2 or 3 minutes. That's something where a guy like Muniz can hold you down for a whole round then. That's going to be a problem.
Lay and pray.
It's lay and pray. That's the thing. Andre Muniz doesn't like to go for big ground and pound. He likes to just basically stay on you, stick on you, figure out ways to just annoy you, and that's kind of how he's going to win. The ground and pound is going to be very minimal, like the most light damage you've ever seen. I wouldn't even call it damage. I would just say enough to make the referee not stand him up. It's pretty it's going to be a little bit annoying if Allen can't get off the ground. Certain rounds are going to be very frustrating to watch, to be honest.
So if Muniz wins, he's going to win by decision. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he can... I mean, he could technically submit Allen, but Allen is very smart. I think Allen knows how to get out of submissions. Like, he's got really... Yeah, he can get off the ground really well. He knows what he's doing on the ground.
I think Brendan Allen only lost one fight in his career by submission, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Yep. So the thing is, though, like I said, the transitions are great. If Muniz takes it to the ground, he can get from guard to half guard super quick, and then to mount even quicker. It's crazy. So he's like a backpack on these guys. He can take the back very quickly too, and that's where it's probably going to be. He's probably going to get that against the fence, and he'll eventually get the back. Submission, like we said, is kind of unlikely because Allen knows what he's doing on the ground. But he's smart though. He knows how to not. You see, the problem is that when you're ground and pounding, a lot of times you have to posture up, meaning you have to kind of get up on your feet a little bit, and then you have to rain down your punches. The problem is when you get up a little bit, you give a chance to create space, and then they can kick you off. They can kind of maneuver you, buck you off. Exactly, Lousy. Just like Lousy said, buck you off. So he's very smart in just basically being just a big wet blanket and knows how to just stay on you. So, and the thing is like I said, the punch combinations are getting better to the point where his head was not in harm's way when he was throwing a 4-punch combination against Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall's a really good striker, and Hall had really no chance to really hurt Muniz ever. That's going to be a problem, I think, for a guy as young as Allen, because Allen is used to putting the pressure on other people. Allen's phenomenal at putting pressure. Look at the Sam Alvey fight. He absolutely decimated Alvey, and it was amazing how he just kept putting the pressure on. And he was like smiling, coming forward. He knew exactly how to beat him because his aggression and his youth and his variety of strikes. Like I said, the body kicks, the kick. You don't know with Allen. You don't know if it's going to be a kick or a punch. He's really great at mixing it up. You don't know what it's going to be.
Right.
So he's kind of deadly in his variety. But the thing is that when Muniz starts to use that 3-inch reach advantage, use the boxing where he can throw those 3-4 strike combinations going forward on the run, and then Allen starts getting backed up, a young guy like Allen, it's going to be a little bit kind of like, shit, what do I do when this guy's throwing these weird combinations coming forward with such confidence and then mixing in the takedowns? It's a recipe for kind of like the older vet is going to, I feel, teach the young kids some lessons. But it's not going to be a bad loss. Like I said, I don't think Allen's going to take much damage. So it's going to be a great learning experience of how to deal with a fighter who is mixing up the punches with a takedown. So Allen's going to learn a lot. I just think that Muniz is a guy who's going to be in the top 7, top 8. And I think Allen's not, in my opinion, he's not ready to be in the top 8 just because he's so young and he's just getting comfortable on the feet and things like that. Oh, he did submit Kevin Holland in 2019. So, I guess, he does have the talent level to submit people. However, Holland has shown that on the ground he actually did good against Souza. So, Allen's got the talent to be there. I think that was a long time ago too. That was like 4 years ago. Holland was getting there. I think 3 years ago maybe. But Holland's really done well in the last probably 3 years. I would say 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know if he was as what he was today. And then now he's a perennial top 7 guy. And now, do you think Allen could submit Holland? Maybe. I mean, you did it once, you could do it again. So maybe Allen is a guy who could be in the top 8 even now. But for me, just from what I've seen, I've seen him struggle. The commentators in that fight, in his fight with that second to last fight against Jacob Malkoun, I'll keep talking about it, but he got held down for 3 minutes. Bisping was even saying like this was a close fight. You could tell that Bisping thought that he lost the fight to Malkoun. So this is the thing. Allen he's got great talent, great future potential. I think though he's one of those fighters who sometimes he can stand up in 5 seconds from a takedown, and sometimes it takes him 2 minutes. So he needs to work on that consistency, which he's getting every fight. So he's going to be, I think, a really good fighter in the future.
Well, if you just went off a competition level, Brendan Allen's fought better fighters. Right. So Brendan Allen for the win. Okay. And Backhand's going to lose this one.
Okay, I'm going with Andre Muniz. I just think that Allen's going to be coming forward. It's going to be great to watch. The aggression is going to be so fun to see who's going to... But once Muniz starts really getting on him, I don't think it's going to be that fun to watch. It's going to be kind of people who picked Allen or are rooting for Allen are going to be frustrated. I'm going to be frustrated because I don't want to watch...
I think this fight goes the distance. So if you want to put money on it, go bet on going the distance.
Like we said, Allen submitted Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland is an amazing fighter. So Allen knows what he's doing on the ground. Don't think he's getting submitted. Muniz won't knock him out at all. And so, Allen will either knock out Muniz or it goes the distance. And we're thinking distance makes a lot of sense, most likely.
Thanks for listening. Welcome to the We've Been Drinking MMA podcast. I am Lousy.
And this is Backhand.
This is our prediction for the main event of the UFC 220 Fight Night between Krylov and Ryan Spann.
We're going with our predictions. I'm going with Ryan Spann.
Ryan Spann's a good pick. My pick is going to be first round homicide. Someone's getting murdered in that ring. What do you think about that?
I agree, man. It's homicide. Like someone's getting killed.
He's gonna opt out to second degree manslaughter. I think.
Wait, tell me.
He's no jail time. No jail time.
Hey, what's the odds? So is it, you looked up the odds for on DraftKings for if it goes the distance versus not going the distance. So not going the distance would be getting finished by submission or KO. Either guy winning, but finished by KO or submission, right? What's the odds of a finish happening?
The odds of the finishing happening, you have to bet $900 to win 100. So minus 900 to win 100. So
And let me tell you right now, both these guys throw like heavy strikes, man. So like Lousy said, it's homicide. It's a homicide.
yeah,
So
someone leaving without all their ears is probably going to happen.
all right. So basically, the stats are basically Ryan Spann is the slight underdog, very close. He's like maybe 45% chance to win. Krylov is a slight favorite, 55% chance to win, basically. Spann has a 2-inch height advantage. Spann also has a 1.5-inch reach advantage. And the thing, though, is that Krylov has 4.4 significant strikes per minute, and Spann only has 3.4 significant strikes per minute. So that's Krylov's advantage because Krylov is very aggressive as far as he throws a lot of strikes in a row. He'll throw combinations going forward on the run. So it's a very exciting main event. And the thing is that Krylov also has takedowns. He mixes in takedowns, which makes him even more dangerous. But Spann has also got 1.5 takedowns per fight. So Spann is no slouch on the ground anymore. And so it keeps it into a very interesting fight where he can get up off the ground. And so, Lousy, why do you think Spann has the advantage? We both going with Spann here by murder.
It's just his counterpunching is dangerous. Like he used to be like head down, punching straight forward, like charging. But now he's learned. Like, he's going to get countered and he's going to get dazed and he's going to get taken out. Now he's learned from I think he's learned from ever since the Anthony Smith fight, like, to not just to go forward, to actually think about his punches. But he's still really dangerous power. He still has that dangerous power to not get people out of there. So it's not like he can't submit people, because he has. But he has that power to knock you out like a heavyweight. And this Krylov guy is no slouch either. He's 29 fights by wins. 9 of those fights have been 9 sub 1 minute fights. 12 of those fights have been by KO. So somebody's gonna get taken out. That's why it's minus 900.
For the finish.
For the finish, yeah. So I'm not picking a winner. I'm picking somebody who's gonna get need an ambulance. So
yeah, and for Spann, I mean Spann is an absolute hits like a heavyweight, like Lousy said, absolutely factual. The guy is hitting. He's so heavy-handed, it's unbelievable. And the scary thing is, I'm just on a side note, his last fight where he KO'd Dominic Reyes out cold, and Dominic Reyes fought. Just to give some context of how good Dominic Reyes is and was, before he got KO'd by Prochaska and then just got KO'd by Ryan Spann, John Jones is just coming back next week to fight, moving up to heavyweight to fight for the heavyweight championship versus Cyril Gane. And guess who John Jones' last fight was? A close, very razor-thin, close win against Dominic Reyes. That's how good Dominic Reyes was. He challenged John Jones.
Very debatable fight, by the way. Very debatable.
A lot of people thought Reyes won rounds 1, 2, and 3, and then Jones won 4 and 5, but they gave, I think, round 2, 4, and 5 to Jones, and that's why he won. But it was a very, very close fight. So that's how good Reyes was, and Spann took him out. Like, every exchange just basically owned him, and Reyes looked pretty good in the fight, but it was just Spann just... Like Lousy said, he's turning into more of a counterpuncher and a smart fighter as far as his punch selection. He's not just going forward with with reckless abandon. He's smart.
Great main event here. It's going to be a fun fight to watch. Let's go.
Let's go. Indeed. I mean, the thing is that, all right, so this is the thing. Krylov likes to go forward. Spann likes to back up and counter now. So like Lousy said, Spann really learned that going forward too much when he has his man hurt, like he had Anthony Smith hurt, he had Johnny Walker hurt when they fought. Spann went forward and then he got countered and got hurt by both fighters and going over aggressive. And now he's realized he wants to stay back. That's what he did with Dominic Reyes and let Reyes hang himself and just run into the power of Ryan Spann with the counter punches. Ryan Spann can also throw 3-punch combinations and with heavy punches on every one of those 3 punches. It's unbelievable, his power. Like Lazzy said, it hits like a heavyweight. He's not even exaggerating a little bit. It's scary, this guy with his power. So the thing is that Krylov likes to go forward, Spann likes to back up and counter, so it's perfect for a counterpuncher. However, Krylov also likes to mix in takedowns. But Krylov is falling in love with his combinations. He throws lead uppercuts. He'll start with an uppercut and throw some punches and then a kick. He's absolutely wild guy. 4 or 5 strikes on the run coming forward, and then he can get you against the fence and clinch you and take you down. He's got solid takedowns. Ryan Spann got submitted 3 fights ago by Anthony Smith, so people might say Ryan Spann, I don't know about his ground game. However, in his second to last fight, he fought a boxer named Ian Kudalaba, and Ryan Spann only has, Ryan Spann also has 12 submissions on his record too, so he's not just a KO artist, he's a submission artist, which is unbelievable. And proof of it is in his second to last fight, he fought Ian Kudalaba. He won by submission in the first round. He got taken down twice, and he got up off the ground because he knows how to get up off the ground really well now. He's really improved that. And then he somehow caught Ian Kudalaba. They were clinching again in the first round after the 2 takedowns where he got up from that, and he just knows how to just the body position and then kicked him off, Kudalaba off. Amazing ability to get up off the ground. And then he just got him in a choke, I believe. And it was just kind of it was a surprise. It was a very shocking surprise because a lot of people think Spann is just a knockout artist because of lately he's been KOing people. But man, the guy's submissions are really top notch actually. So this is the thing. In my opinion, yes, Krylov could go for the takedown. I don't think he's going to go for too many takedowns because he's really getting over aggressive. When he goes for his 4-5 punch, 4 punch combos with a kick and stuff like that on the run, his head is in harm's way. He took a lot of damage against Ozdemir, actually. He got punched a lot. He did KO Gustafsson in his second to last fight, but Gustafsson was chinny.
Yeah.
And lousy, we talked about that. Me and you talked about that, how Gustafsson is chinny. He's been getting KO'd by everybody. Just a lot of people are hurting him. Fabricio Verdum hurt him. I mean, he's a grappler and he hurt him.
Well, Gustafsson is a Hall of Famer, but he's done.
He is done. He's just taken too much damage over the years. And so, he got punched. He barely got scraped almost by the punch. It was like an overhand. And Gustafsson just got put down. He got right back up, and then he just got hit again too many times later on in the fight. He was doomed from the start. And I don't want to say that Krylov's not a great striker. I'm not trying to say that Krylov's a bad striker. He's a good striker. However, the KO over Gustafsson is his second to last win, even though Gustafsson is a Hall of Famer. It's just not. You can't really you got to take that into context and know that Gustafsson was absolutely chinny. His skull, he's just bad. He's a hurt fighter. He's a beat fighter going in. No offense, I like Alexander Gustafsson, great guy. But in his last fight versus Ozdemir, man, he would go forward, getting hit a lot in the first round. He got better as the fight went on and took less damage. However, Ozdemir also slowed down, and that's what really gave Krylov the advantage. But think about if he kept getting hit more and more and Ozdemir didn't gas out. I mean, it would have been a hell of a firefight. And that's the problem. When you're going against a guy like Spann and you're coming in with these punches and recklessly a little bit when you're throwing 4 or 5 strike combinations on the run,
you're going to get countered.
Spann will counter, right? Spann will counter and counter you hard. He will wait for the right spot and really hurt you. Like we said, he's getting really smart, really picking his chances to counter a lot smarter than he used to.
Being more patient with his strikes instead of going headstrong into it.
Yeah, so the other thing is that Krylov also, other than the 4 or 5 strike combinations, he's got a really good body kick. Dominic Reyes also has a really good body kick, which he showed in Spann's last fight. And guess what Spann did? He was able to time that and actually counter right after the body kick. So I'm telling you, in every single way, Krylov's body kicks are going to get countered by Spann. His 4 or 5 strike combinations on the run, Spann's going to counter him there. When he takes him down, Spann will be able to get up off the ground. I really see Spann really hurting him. I think he finishes him in 2 rounds, to be honest. That might be a little bit of an arrogant prediction, but it just feels like he's going to counter him. And Krylov is really susceptible to getting hit a lot in the first round, like he showed against Ozdemir. I think... yeah, man. This is going to be a bad night for Krylov. He's a favorite, but I think Spann is going to show. I think Spann lost to Walker, and people are thinking Walker's not even top 7. That's why Spann is the underdog. They're not realizing that Spann got over-aggressive, and Spann has now changed into a counterpuncher. But this is the things that we realize is that sometimes the bookmakers don't realize that the evolution of a fighter is happening, and this is what's happening.
You learn and adapt, but I like your pick with Spann, but in the distance is my prediction. And first round murder.
Yeah.
Manslaughter for
Yep,
sure.
I'm gonna definitely be betting Spawn. But yeah, I agree. I mean, both guys can finish. A lot of finishes on their record, so it's a great fight. Going with Spawn. Lousy is too, but Lousy is going for the in the distance. He really thinks one of them is gonna hurt. Just put each other out. Someone's gonna finish the other person. Hey, this is Backhand, and this is the parlays and locks segment of this show for UFC Fight Night 220 Spawn versus Krylov. And my lock is going to be Tatiana Suarez, and heavy favorite. And then my parlay is going to be Tatiana Suarez and Mike Mallet and Ryan Spann. Lousy, what's your predictions for your parlays and locks?
I like your picks. My lock of the fight card is Tatiana Suarez. She's just too good not to win. And then my parlay is going to be Joe Selecki. He's on the prelim. Tatiana Suarez, Mike Mallet, and then in the distance on the main event of Spann and Krylov.
Yeah, I like it, man. Four fight parlay on your parlay. I love it. Two of them are heavy favorites to happen. And then you have Selecki, who's a really great fighter. And then you have Mike Mallet, who's uber aggressive, but also just, not over aggressive, just super aggressive. Just amazing fighter to watch. I'm going to have to bet your parlay, man. I love it. And you're getting somehow plus money on it. Even
Plus money.
You have all huge favorites except for my Mallet's minus 200. But they're all favorites, and three of them are like minus 600, meaning 6-1, meaning like 85. Three out of his four fights, three of the fights are 85% chance to win, and then Mallet is like a 65% chance to win. Huge favorites, and then one sizable favorite, a pretty good favorite, and he's getting plus money.
And
awesome.
we aren't, or at least I'm not going, hey, he's a favorite, gotta bet it. I actually think these guys are gonna really are going to win these fights, probably in very convincing fashion.
Yeah, and so we both have Tatiana Suarez. We got to talk about her. She's had 3-year layoff because she had a knee injury, but her record is amazing. She KO'd Carla Esparza. She submitted Alexa Grasso in the last 5 fights. Alexa Grasso is fighting for the title literally in another month or so, or maybe actually it's next week. It's on the John Jones fight card. I forgot. And she so she has wins and convincing wins or finishes over people who are super relevant right now who are fighting for the title and stuff. So she's an amazing fighter. She's really good on the clinch and against the cage and wrestling. Yeah. And so it's just one of those things where if you don't have the wrestling, you're done. And Montana De La Rosa is her opponent, and she just doesn't quite. She couldn't keep Macy Barber off her. You're not going to keep someone like Tatiana off you.
Yep. And Macy Barber lost to Roxanne Modafferi. So you can take that for what it's worth. Yeah. And so Tatiana Suarez gonna win.
Yeah. So let's talk about Selecki is a huge favorite as well. What do you like about Selecki? What do you like about his style, man?
His wrestling.
Yeah.
Amazing. He just knows what he's doing, and he's just gonna beat this guy.
Yeah. So and then we
155.
Who else do we have? We have Mike Mallet is a murdering monster. I mean, honestly, we are saying Spawn is gonna murder, or Krylov or whatever. Or I was saying that, but really, Mike Mallet is really the murderer of the main card of this whole event. I mean, you
fight of the night. Fight of the night.
Honestly, guys, it doesn't matter if you don't miss. It's a free card. You gotta tune in, but don't miss the Mike Mallet Liness fight. Mike Mallet is amazing to watch. I mean, you've never seen a guy this crazily going forward, but he does it with skill, and it's crazy to see, but it's amazing.
So, again, my parlay is Suarez, in the distance between Spann and Krylov, Mike Mallet, and Joe Selecki.
Right. And my lock is also, just like Lousy's, I'm going with Tatiana Suarez for my lock, and I'm going with Ryan Spann, Tatiana Suarez for my parlay, and then Mike Mallet. Mike Mallet, man. Again, just a scary guy. And then Ryan Spann, it's just one of those things where Ryan Spann has so much power. He's 3-5 in his last 5 fights, but those 2 losses he had in his last 5 fights, he had his opponent rocked, and he should have and would have finished him if he didn't get over aggressive, which he's really learned how to just sit back and counter now, and he still counters with absolute heavy power. So he's changing, he's evolving as a fighter, and even though he's a slight underdog, I just think Ryan Spann is it's his time to really, with the perfect style matchup to counter punch, counter knockout, counter KO, very aggressive, over aggressive Krylov. It's gonna be a really fun fight, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, at first I didn't like this card, but analytically, this is gonna be a great card. So thank you for listening, and hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.